Isabel. So I'll start now then. Yeah, like Isabel said, if there's any questions you've got throughout the presentation, put them on there and I will address them all at the end if I don't address them during the presentation. So, as I said, I'm the head of department for computing, so I actually teach on majority of these courses. So what our department offer is, what we're offering today, these are our 4 main pathways. So we actually offer computing in 2 ways. We offer computing as a HN, CH&D route, which we've got a picture in a second to explain that, and also a foundation degree. Now, we've actually revalidated all our courses, so this is the first time we're offering these courses this year. There's just slight tweaks and improvements based on student feedback and industry changes. So these are 4 new pathways. So we've got computing, which is quite generic, which will include bits of the other 3. Computer network engineering. So for those that want to get hands-on, like the picture there with the routers and switches, that's one of our students there. Computer network security, where you get to play with things like Wi-Fi pineapples, rubber duckies, doing forensics, digital forensics, and then software development. Obviously, one of our really popular courses where you're looking at obviously developing websites, apps, looking at actually the programming code behind how things work. So we'll go in a bit more detail about each of those courses in just a second. So just to explain a little bit more about what we offer. So hopefully anyone interested in applying now for level 4 courses will have done either your level 3 BTECs or your A-levels or your HE diploma. What we offer is on this side here, so hopefully you can see my mouse. We offer the foundation degrees, so it's not to be confused with your foundation level courses. So what you do, you'd start at level 4, you do the 2-year course, so you get a qualification at the end of that 2 years, and you get like a pass merit distinction in that, and then you top up in your final year. So all our courses have a straight path. So if you started doing computing, you would get a top up in computing as well. That's something that we've never been able to do in the past. So that's quite exciting for us. We also have the HNC, H&D route. You'd sign up for a 2-year course for the H&D, and it's just slightly different. So if you're unsure about exactly what pathway to do, you can always do the HNC, H&D and then top up into one of our courses, then whatever you've felt you've specialised the best in. So that's kind of how it works. I mean, when you sign up for example at Manchester Met or Manchester University, you would sign up for the 3-year course. We're just slightly different, whereas you get to do 2 years, and then if you think, oh, do you know what, I want to do a more generic computing one, or you started computing and you want to move to networking, you can do it at that point. So you're not fixing yourself in a 3-year course. So that's how we operate. So obviously what I've mentioned is that we are validated by Manchester Metropolitan University, and so we have wrote the courses and we get them all approved by them, and your final certificate would be from Manchester Metropolitan University, but from UCEN Manchester. Hope that makes sense. So introducing our team, that's not me, hope you can see me on the camera. So that is actually Paul Ashby, so he's my department coordinator. So how my department works is, so you'd have me, so I'm Adam Connell, so I will teach on some of the courses. You'd mainly probably see me as a dissertation supervisor, because I actually have a master's degree and studying 12 and PhD. So what we try and do is put people with those higher qualifications on doing supervision for you. So you get more people that have done research supporting you doing your research, which is something that I'll talk to you about in just a second. And obviously these are tutors, and something I'm very proud to say actually in this department is that actually in that list we've got Clay Cavello and Jan Shah that are both actually former students with us, and it's fantastic that they've been able to come through our degree programs, and they've actually decided that they want to take on teaching as well. So it's something that we're extremely proud about as well with that as well. I mean, and in fact, actually, I'll tell a lie, there's 3, because Aisha Khan also completed her degree with us and actually came back and taught with us as well. So it's quite a good proportion of staff that have come through and decided they want to stay on and do teaching with us, which is fantastic. But we've got a lot of industry experience in there as well. I mean, Jan has previous experience. Clay still working part-time in the security field as well. And then Chris and Paul, what they don't know about networking and security is not worth knowing with their previous job roles. So we've got quite a good rounded team as well, which we're extremely proud about. So in terms of industrial partners, we do a lot. One of the key things is when we validated for this year, one thing that we were really keen on is to work with people like Cisco, Palo Alto for like the networking and security sides, VMware, Oracle. We use them a lot to decide what our curriculum will look like, because what we wanted, our key thing is that we want you to be able to do your degree and move on to employment. Now, I've said that some our students have stayed on and taught with us, which is absolutely fantastic, but we get a lot of students that we'll mention in a second that have gone on to study for masters and courses, but a lot of them got into industry as well, which is absolutely fantastic. We've had some great students go on to work for like Cisco subsidiary companies. We've not yet got people with Palo Alto yet, but that's a big thing that we're starting now, with graduate schemes that they're doing, which is really exciting coming up. And we'll talk a little bit more about Palo Alto a bit later on. So why study with us? It's a great question. We do our academy status with the likes of Palo Alto, Cisco, VMware. Now, what that actually means is that we actually get access to software and equipment. I mean, we're extremely lucky with Palo Alto. They've given us quite a lot of equipment. So when we're in campus, which I'll talk about in just a second, you will be able to use equipment that our IT services people are jealous of. We have a great setup that you can actually get your hands dirty with and work with equipment that is industry standard, which is a massive plus point for us and the tutors. We only have to pay for postage from packaging from Amsterdam, but the equipment itself is worth thousands and thousands of pounds that we got given to us because we're part of the academy status with them. And obviously with the second one, with Cisco, we've had a great partnership with them. That's the third point. It says like 20 years, and we've actually got 2 tutors in the college, Paul being one of them, that's been recognised as the top 10% of Cisco tutors in the world, not even UK, in the world. So it's fantastic that you can have been study with these guys as well. So that's one of our key things. So it all ties in with industry links and events. Now, one of the events that I'll show you a video a bit later too is from Palo Alto. We actually hosted that as a university. We had people from all over the world come to us, which is absolutely fantastic. So it's great seeing people from like Oxford and Cambridge come to us to actually do our event, which is quite good. So it shows that we are competing at the very top of our field. So it's fantastic. So the fifth point there, Manchester named top UK location for IT professionals to live. And it's true, we do have some fantastic things in Manchester. So it's great that we can get people working with us and getting the links in town as well, which is fantastic. We've got a good link with the Etihad Stadium and their IT services, so we're going to try and utilise them virtually as well this year. And this is what all this is about, really, these last 2 points. We want you to have that personal touch. We all talk about that journey and that experience of when you start and where you get to the end. And not everyone's journey will be the same, and we appreciate that. And what we try and do is help you the best we can do for you to achieve the goals that you set out to do. Like I'll show you in just a second about the software development, the choice of your dissertation title is completely up to you, and that's something that we will support you with, and it's completely up to your interests. And that's where that last point is. We want you to find your niche. We want you to find your area that interests you the most. We want your studies to be really relevant. We will set you tasks that obviously are quite generic and all the class has to complete, which is like assignments, whatever. But we do try and embed quite a lot of research into our courses at each level, so you can actually go out there and find what interests you. We've had some fantastic students that have actually done a dissertation for somewhere where they've worked. They've gone for promotion and they've taken their dissertation with them, and that's helped them get a job. Not a job, I don't think they don't have the job, but help them not get the job, but get a pay rise as well. So they actually said, look, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm researching. And they were that impressed, they actually gave them a higher salary because of what the research they'd done. And they're the kind of things that we want to push you towards, to pick topics that won't just help that you're interested in, but will help you succeed in your careers as well. So, and that's really key for us, because we understand that some people come to us that maybe studying will be working at the same time as they're studying. So we really want to try and support everyone as the best way we can do. So hopefully that covers that. So in terms of our offers, so in computing, So I kind of touched on this slightly. So this program is like more of a broad one. So we try and break it down into the individual. So you do a bit of security, do a bit of networking, that because one thing we haven't offered before with this is that some people might not know what you actually want to do, what you want to come out with, which is why the computing pathway is quite good. So if you're a bit unsure about what pathway you want to take, this is fantastic because it gives you that flavour of all of them. I mean, after my own personal experience of studying is I did a computing and business and IT degree, which again was quite generic across business and IT. And I've been able to specialise as I got to my master's, and then as I've gone to my PhD, I've then been able to specialise into what field that interests me. So this is a really good offer for those people like myself at your stage that weren't overly sure what you wanted to do. So we cover things like business intelligence, systems integration, but the best thing about these courses is that negotiated research. You can pick, I mean, that's worth doubling your final year, and that will give you the opportunity to study something that you want to be studying, and that will help you go into that field. And it's negotiated, so you work with your tutor, your supervisor, to help you pick what's best for you. So that's similar in all our degrees. So there are 3 pathways. So I'll start off with computer network engineering. So this kind of like is the underpinning of like obviously networking. So we work a lot with the Cisco and Palo Alto. We delve heavily quite into the Cisco curriculum for this for level 4, level 5, and get you actually to question and study this and think, well, is this right? I mean, a big thing with network engineering at the moment is the fact that you will need to learn not only just routing and switching stuff and the actual networking side, you will need to learn software development as well, a bit of programming, and we do incorporate that in because it's a big change that's happening. It's not only the speed of your hardware, but it's how you can manipulate the software as well. So it's that management of the systems. So that's something that we are really on top of because Cisco changed that curriculum as of last year, and we've got obviously Paul and people like Manaf working on that for us, and that will be embedded into our courses as well, which is quite exciting. So that's computer network engineering. Now I've just put these 2 here as well. These are just case studies that we've used previously. I mean, this is Ben. I won't read all this out to you, but Ben was one of my students. I taught him at his level 4. He actually completed his foundation degree with us. Ben came to us having been in the army for years. He came to us wanting to do it with networking. He completed all his Cisco training, and now he's off jet setting around the world. I think he's now working in the Ministry of Defence. But before that, he actually was going around working on private yachts, doing setting up the networking for them. There you go, the company based in the Isle of Man. So we're going on the different yachts, which was really great. I mean, he keeps in touch, Ben, which is fantastic, which is why we can use his case study here, which is fantastic. You may have seen it on the website if you've been on it before. But I mean, he actually only completed his foundation degree and then went off there. He's not yet completed his top-up degree. He keeps threatening to come back. So I presume when he gets a break in his work, he'll come back and complete that with us. So that's quite exciting. It's a good example to show you that you may only need to do your foundation degree with us. So rather than 3 years, you can do your 2 years. So it is a quite good example. And there's another student that did network engineering, Phil. He was a fantastic student. I actually was his dissertation supervisor at the end. He was as you can see from his comments there. He struggled, obviously. I mean, he says there he suffered with mental health problems, and what we're able to do is just support him through his time here, and that's the key thing, that everyone has a different journey, comes from different backgrounds. He came to us as a mature learner, and we helped him get to where he wanted to be. He now works self-employed as an installation engineer and consultant in St Ives. So we'll have to go and visit him soon. But no, I mean, it's that's a great story. He's completed both his foundation degree and his top-up degree with us, and he felt confident enough to do that with us and succeed and do really well. So that's a great example of someone that succeeded with us. The network security, I mean, obviously we've got so many examples. I mean, the great example you're going to hear in a minute at the end was Marianne, who's now turned into our student union president. She's completed our network security pathway this year. And what we're doing here is we really try and push into doing forensics and doing all the different security sides. So we work quite well with Palo Alto here, and it's like the InfoSec practitioners and engineers. So it's quite interesting, really. It really is exciting about how to actually not only protect a network, but then making sure that we can test it, especially penetration testing. It is hard. There's no easy ways around it. It is a difficult area. I mean, it sounds good calling it hacking, but it is generally about securing networks, which is more and more topical, and it's a growing industry all the time, about how to actually create a network but secure it and then actually test it to make sure. Me and Clay is still working in this field as well now, so it's great to have that experience and that knowledge on courses like this. So when we always help out our also being an LTE group, we work. It's great that we can actually use our own network as an example as well. So we do quite a lot of good stuff there. And this is actually just a quick video. Hopefully it'll work for you. And this is just about the event that we held just over a year ago now, maybe a bit more. So this is a Palo Alto event. So hopefully it'll explain a bit more about what happened and what we did here.
Today we are in Manchester and we are at the second Academy Day, where it's a Capture the Flag event.
Essentially a hacking event where students have to hack certain challenges. So they're given a series of challenges and they've got to find clues, and those clues are the clues to the next stage, and we call those the flag.
The main purpose of Capture the Flag is learning. We want the students to get a sense of what they'll be facing when they enter the cybersecurity field.
They'll test different areas such as understanding of cryptography, understanding of web applications, and understanding of networking in a broad range of cybersecurity related tasks.
Understanding that everybody who's participating probably brings their own skill set, and so collaboration is probably the most important capability somebody can bring to the table.
I drive my attention into data, and protecting data is really important. So this event will prepare me to protect myself, so that to not show my data and to protect the data.
My experience so far today has been really good fun, a lot of teamwork, cooperation, talking to other people.
I've learned a hell of a lot of stuff, and I've seen some things that I would never have seen before. So it's been really good, really cool experience. I really liked it, and I managed to solve a couple of problems. So really pleased with that.
Yeah, and that's great. You could see there, I mean, Chris Miller was in there. He's one of our lead tutors for security. We actually saw Jan in there as well, which is great. And one of our new tutors for this next academic year. So you can see the collaboration there. The actual, we sent a team for our second year and third years. We actually sent some of our software development students with our security students. And me and Jan was a software development student at a time there, and they absolutely loved it. And it just shows you this crossover and the skills that you may need to have from security to software development as well. So obviously this year that event has also been a bit not really happened the same way, but obviously we hosted it in 2019. So hopefully back in next year we never know when we'll host it again. But the year before we did send our students to Amsterdam to be in that same event. So we do want to try and keep doing that. So it may be that maybe not next year, but the year after, if you're in the second year. You may want to go over there to wherever they hold it. So one year was in Amsterdam, next year was Manchester. Who knows where it'll be next year, but we always get invited to it, which is absolutely fantastic, and it's great that we can send a team over every year. So security and software development, obviously, just as we mentioned, then ties into all the others. But what you'll be doing here is more focusing on the web development, on scripting, and everything, all the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, it's a lot of courses. I mean, obviously, it has to be taught now in the network engineering and in security. So software development is really important, and it's an area where you get so many jobs at the minute, because obviously people that have been networking for years haven't got these skills. So those companies are now going out looking for people that can, and that's what we try and do in software development, is prepare you as best we can do for writing code, applications, and basically it's problem solving. I mean, Andy there, my tutor in this picture, there you go, it's quite handy, that one, with one of our students. He loves setting problems for you to solve, and that's kind of what this whole unit's about. And what I've just done on this next slide is just say, like, for level 6 software development, these are just 4 different titles that they actually got to pick when it gets to your final year. So we talked about negotiated research. Now these 4 different titles are massively different. So the top one is the impact of artificial intelligence and software development and engineering. These are all by software development students, by the way. Investigating into whether our personal data is considered private and private property, and that's actually one of the pictures on the side there. That's their post presentation that they had to produce at the end. Investigating alternative gaming mechanics in RPGs for combat encounters. So we had a student really interested in that element of gaming with a background of software development. So we encourage that. And building a functional CRM dashboard using the 4D programming language and database. So and again, that's the bottom picture. You can see there that was his post presentation that he put on there. So hopefully you can see from that, if you were picking one of these, you're not being forced to go down different pathways. All 4 of them are massively different, and it is really down to what the student wants to do. And I mean, I supervised 2 out of the 4 there, and it's all about making sure. I mean, you turn into the expert at this point. What I'm there to do is support you with you writing up your project and make sure you're doing it within the right ethical way and things like that. You turn into the expert at level 6. So it's something for you to look forward to when you get to that point of it's something that you need to decide what you want to do in, and we'll support you with that, as you can see with the different examples there.
We've got Andy on. I don't know if you want to add anything to that there, Andy.
Oh, hi Andy. Do you want to talk a bit more about what you're expecting from your students level 6? The more physical projects.
Yeah. Actually, one thing I was going to say about all those people who did that research there, all of them have either gone on to get jobs or they've gone on to get masters. So for example, the gaming guy is now doing a masters in gaming, and the artificial person is now doing a masters at Huddersfield in AI. So it does seem that a lot of our students are going on to either get work or go to a master's program in a particular topic that they're interested in. And I think that's actually one of the really good things about the course. It's you learn really good programming skills, but you can develop in a way that suits you. And I think those 4 topics are showing that. Can people hear me? Or?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Don't know if you want to pass back over to you, Adam.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I mean, that was a perfect timing, that Andy. Yeah, and that's exactly it. That's why I kind of chose those 4 topics there. And as Andy said, then that obviously the pathways once you finish the course. So it's quite a nice thing to look at, really. And that's the same for any of our top ups. When you get to that point, it's we really work with you and decide what you want to do. And I mean, in the top student is one I supervised, and I actually sat with him and helped him do his application for his masters as well, whilst he was doing this, because obviously that was kind of, he submitted one of his draft actually signed dissertations with his application. So it is something that we really try and support you with. So what I'll go through next is just some examples from students. So obviously we've got a student from software development, and he'll talk to you a little bit about it. And I've actually got another video as well from Marianne. So she just covers those kinds of questions on there as well. So what I'll do is I'll just change my screen, and so you can show you those videos back to back. Now Marianne studies network security, and actually she's gone on to be our student, she's wearing it proudly there, the student union president for next year. So hopefully you'll see a lot of her when you come and join us. So let me just stop sharing for one.
Yes, one of my tutor, Andy, he has a master's degree in artificial intelligence, and he's my supervisor as well for the final year project. And my final year project is about AI. So yeah, I had help from Andy in my final year project, which is based on the degree I'm going to study in the next year, artificial intelligence.
So can you kind of talk us through kind of your ideas for your final year?
Yes, I've created 2 systems, 2 smart systems. One is an image classifier. So I created a system which identify images of a cat and a dog. So you give the system an image of a cat or a dog, a random image. It tells you if it is a cat or a dog. So you can actually adapt the system to be more intelligent, such as you can feed the images of cancer patients. So but you need to train the system. So first I will need maybe 10,000 images of cancer tumors. Once I train the system, then you can predict cancer tumors using images. But I created a more simpler version of a cat and dog because the images were easily available. So that's my first project, and my other project is called churn model. So I have maybe 20,000 customers data of a bank, and if they have left the bank or not. So I trained the system to learn customer patterns, their credit score, their geography, and their salaries. And now the system is smart enough to predict if the customer will leave the bank or not. So these two systems I created using artificial intelligence. The specific practices I'm using are neural networks and deep learning. I can't get into the details, which will be really complex. So that's two projects I've created for my final year. And Andy is my supervisor. He has a master's in artificial intelligence. So yeah, he was a great help.
Okay, I hope you could hear that a bit quiet there. So hopefully the next one will be a bit louder. So the next one I was saying is Marianne. It's a slightly bit longer, but it is worth.
I'm a top-up final year student on the BSc network security with penetration testing. I'm the rep for my class. I'm also the co-rep for the full department, and I'm a student ambassador for the college. No, to be honest, I'm from a low working class background. None of my family have been to university or college. Just worked in shops since I was 16. My husband moved down here for work. I followed him, found out about the course, and decided to better my life prospects.
So why this course?
So it's actually what my husband does for a job. He's a penetration tester. About the course and decided to better my life prospects.
So why this course?
So it's actually what my husband does for a job. He's a penetration tester. So really I'm interested in the field, and when he talks about it, I was like struggling to keep up, but really wanted to learn about it and wanted to get into that industry. And just this course sounded like the way to do it. Because I'm obviously from Scotland, I don't have the same English qualifications, and I was able to get in just because I had knowledge rather than actual qualifications to get here.
So where are you now because of the course, or where are you headed?
So in terms of where I'm headed, I'm actually at a bit of a crossroads because originally I wanted to become a penetration tester. But having done some of the student ambassador stuff, I quite like working with like the school kids and getting them encouraged to do this type of work. So I'm actually looking at possibly either pen testing or become a teacher. Originally I wanted to become a penetration tester, but having done some of the student ambassador stuff, I quite like working with like the school kids and getting them encouraged to do this type of work. So I'm actually looking at possibly either pen testing or become a teacher. Basically, you can either work for a company such as Tesco's, who have like maybe their own penetration testers, and they'll basically have you look into their security, or you work for an external company and you get hired by somebody, a company, who will have you come in and test their websites, their apps, their networks, and you're basically just making sure that hackers can't get access to them. Well, in terms of the course, I really enjoy the learning aspect, being able to keep up with my husband when he has a conversation with me. I really enjoy working with the students that are in my class and working with the students from lower years. I'm really looking forward to having, as I said, better prospects and stuff. The student ambassador role, I really just enjoy because we go to like cold spots, so places where they might not necessarily know they can get onto courses like this, or they don't realise that they actually do have the qualifications to get onto courses like this. And I'm really enjoying being able to go and speak to those students and say to them, like, if I can do it at like 30, you can definitely do it.
So is that kind of what inspired you then? Because you said you want to kind of widen your prospects. Is that why you became an ambassador?
Yes, so I actually helped one of the tutors. They had a class in from another school, and I helped out, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed seeing like their faces sort of light up, and like they're like years ahead of even where I was at the time. I went for a little interview, and basically, yeah, it just somebody believed in me, put me on this course, and I want to be able to then give them that opportunity and show them that it's not like just because like you're from a poorer area or you're from you don't know as much as maybe the person sat next to you does not mean that you can't reach for the stars, and that's really important to me.
How have your tutors or the UCEN impacted your direction for your career?
The tutors have been amazing, to be honest. I was actually quite behind because a lot of the other members of my class, they'd done like a level 3 course, and I came into level 4 not having been in education since I was 17, and just I was a bit sort of, I floundered a bit, and I got really sort of anxious about it, and it got me really upset because I thought I wasn't going to be able to. The tutors have been amazing, to be honest. I was actually quite behind because a lot of the other members of my class, they'd done like a level 3 course, and I came into level 4 not having been in education since I was 17, and just I was a bit sort of, I floundered a bit, and I got really sort of anxious about it, and it got me really upset because I thought I wasn't going to be able to carry on. And my tutors instantly saw there was a problem, sat me and said, look, let's work through it, gave me some information. They worked through the things that I was struggling with, gave me like extra work to help me, pointers on where to go. I really honestly don't think I would still be on this course if they hadn't done that.
And what excites you the most for the future?
Just having opportunities that maybe weren't open to me 5-6 years ago, knowing that I can do something that I enjoy rather than I need to do because I need money to pay the bills. I can actually go out there and do a job that I love, pass on knowledge if I decide to go down the teaching route, and help other people do the jobs they love as well. Yeah, I'm just excited to see what doors open to me.
Okay, and hopefully, I mean that kind of backs up everything I've just been saying. Hopefully, that'd be quite a nice tie in there. Let me just get back to this a second and back to the PowerPoint. In that second, and then I come back to this. Give me 1 second. There we go. Yeah, so that was Marianne, and it was a great. I mean, she's just one of many students that we get like that, and with people that come into us and not really know what they want to do. And I mean, I didn't pay her to say it, realise that as well, but obviously with teaching, we do get quite a lot of people that come through our degree programs, and they do want to end up going to teaching. And I think it's just a coincidence at the minute we've got so many come through, and we've got that many people in our current department that have been students with us. But it's brilliant to see, and it's great that they can take that away with them. So really, that's everything I've got really. So now really is the opportunity to, if you've got any questions there, to ask.
Great, yeah. So we have had a few questions through. I'm just going to go to one. A lady called Tracy has asked a question about it. It's basically about her daughter. Now I'm just going to read it out, and if you want me to repeat anything, just let me know.
Okay.
So she said, my daughter is currently doing a foundation degree in internet software at our local college and is looking for somewhere to top it up. Which of your top-ups would you suggest as the best fit? She has shown an interest in cybersecurity recently and would potentially like to join your computer network security top-up course. Would this be possible, or would she need to add to her knowledge beforehand? I have a list of modules she has done in year 1 and will be doing in year 2 this coming year. I can send you that if it would help. She is looking to top up next year in 2021, so has time for further study if necessary.
Yeah, I mean, initially, straight away, I would say if you're doing, what's the title of the qualification again? Just to...
It is in internet software.
So
foundation degree.
Yeah, that would straight away align itself more with software development. That's what I'd say in the first instance. But this is something I could probably, if you send over those units, we could have a look at what you would need to do. And what I could do is I can get my tutor Chris to have a look over those units and see, and just a bit of a guide, because we would take people on if it, obviously if that's her passion, then we'd definitely look to try and support her. And if she's got a year as well, we can try and see what we can do for you, put you on. There's loads of free courses as well at the minute that will give you the base knowledge for you to be able to go on to. The only concern we would have is obviously there isn't massive amount of teaching at level 6, because obviously they will treat level 4 or 5 as where you learn all that knowledge, and then at level 6 you showcase it. But I'm sure we can find, if you just pass on the details to me at the end of this, we can get you in touch with Chris and be able to show you some things you can be studying to prepare you to put you on that course for the following year.
Great, yeah, and we'll just pop an email address or contacts in there so that they can get in touch as well. Okay, so moving on, another question is, when will term start for computing?
So term will start in September. So the calendar.
I think it's week of the 14th we're starting.
Yeah, there you go.
Great. And somebody else has said, will it be online to start? Obviously, the current situation with the COVID-19, what is the plan for that?
Yes, that's something I haven't actually mentioned yet, which is good. Thanks for asking that question. So the plan currently is still evolving all the time. So we've not actually sent anything official out, but the plan that we are sticking to, that we're planning for, is that usually it would be 2.5 days on site for studying for a foundation degree. What we are planning at the minimum is 1 day on site. So you'd be able to come in, spend a day with the tutors while doing anything that's practical. So, for example, we've just ordered some more Raspberry Pis and things like that. So we'd have them to share around. Obviously, we're still working on the basis of like social distancing and making sure we're COVID friendly environment. So what you'd come in for that day in a bubble, and we'd give you anything that was practical. A teacher would then go through with that stuff before you, but then the other day and a half would then be online. So we're keeping it quite flexible in terms of timetable, and you'd have a day in college, and that tutor may change depending on what unit we want you to be doing as it fits in the scheme of work. So, for example, you may have, for example, Luke might be teaching you networking for 2 weeks, doing the practical side of it in college. Then he may deliver the rest of it online. Whereas on that day, you then get someone like Andy or Jan coming in teaching you programming for 2 weeks. So we hopefully doing it in quite a flexible model. So your days would never change. It's only the tutors that would be there. So you'd have 2.5 days where you'd just be studying, 1 day in college, the other day and a half that would be online.
Great, thank you. Hopefully that answers the question. Somebody else has asked, what support is there for students who are working as well as studying?
So we do encourage, if you're, obviously we encourage you to take on this as studying full time. If you obviously are studying part time, and obviously it is probably more beneficial at the minute if you are working part time, because obviously you don't have to go into college 1 day a week, which obviously is an advantage. The other day and a half would be online, so it's far more supportive for you. The key thing is that communication with your tutors. If you can't make it in for whatever reason, making sure you're speaking to them, catching up. We've always had people that have come to us that are working. Sometimes the shift patterns change and you can't make certain sessions. And the key thing there is you're being in communication with that tutor to be helpful. We can only support you if you tell us what support you need. So we do need attendance, and that's the key thing. So on the day that we do timetable in, we do encourage you to attend those sessions. But whilst we're obviously doing this flexible learning, doing the online, there is more leeway than ever really with that. Obviously, if you can't attend during that particular session, it is recorded, so you can go back and watch it. But there will be certain times where you do need to attend, and if you can't, speak to your tutor.
Okay, thank you. Somebody else has asked, how do you know which course to choose?
It's a great question, and it depends on you. Completely depends on you. And this could be something that if you're still undecided, one of us can get in touch with you. I don't mind giving you a call in the next couple of days, and we can have a talk about what best suits you. Depends on your private experience, depends on where you want to go. I mean, it's all about your personal journey. mean, the good thing is we've tried to open the computing pathway with the HN and the foundation degree to give people that option of, because in the past we only offered the 3, software development, security, or that, and they are quite specific. So that's why we do try and have that computing off pathway as well for those that may not have decided yet. I mean, like the first question was, you may have chose something for your foundation degree. When you get to your top up, if something really you're really interested in, we can always try and support you then getting on that right top up for you.
Great, thank you. And we've got a final question here. I'm not sure if some may come through as I read it and as you answer, but somebody said, can you choose to do your research on anything?
Oh, it's something me and Andy have talked a lot about. It is negotiated. I mean, what we do say, because part of when we got it validated, it needs to be something within the field that you're studying. I mean, for software development, we do encourage you to actually do something more practical in there. We wouldn't necessarily want you to be researching about what people's opinions are on games. We'd want you to be actually researching, well, how good is that piece of, how can we do certain things? Or, I mean, I know we've had a great one about VR. How would VR be utilised in a, like a library scenario? That was quite a good one, and that then research was experimenting in VR. So it can be in most things as long as it's relevant to the field that you are studying. So you wouldn't be signing up for software development and then doing a security research piece. So yeah, they are quite wide, but it just needs to tie in some way to what your topic is of your final degree classification title. Yeah.
Great, thanks for that. And it looks like we've not had any more questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, Adam?
No, I mean, obviously, the only thing I'm not putting there is my email address. If you do, I'm sure one of you can put Bob my email address on there for you. But if there's any questions you've got about anything on like choice of courses or anything like that, I'm around the next couple of weeks. If you need, just drop me an email and I can arrange a phone call with you, and I can speak to you about anything that we've talked about today or any specific questions that you've got. So yeah.
Great, thank you. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. If you do have obviously any more questions, we have put the email address for Adam within the Q&A box. Somebody has just quickly asked, how big are the class sizes?
That is a very good question at the minute, because I know we're working on social distancing. I mean, cohort sizes are usually around 10 to 15. I think the biggest cohort that we've got is 20. However, for COVID-19 purposes, we will be having reduced class sizes to fit in, because we have had our health and safety team go around the rooms. So I think the maximum of 10 per class. When you're in class physically, I think the maximum would be 10. But then online, you may be with the full cohort, which may be 20. So it depends on which course you're on.
Great, thank you. So as I was saying, Adam's email address is in the Q&A box. So if you do have any more specific questions, feel free to email him directly, and he'll do his best to answer that for you. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. If we do have lots of other events taking place next week for subject specific. I mean, we might obviously, this is computing, might just be solely interested in computing, but if you are open to any other courses, feel free to check out our website and just have a look at the different events taking place at ucenmanchester.ac.uk. So again, thanks a lot for joining us, and have a nice day. See you later.
Might just ask around one last quick question. Is that all right?
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, that's just come in.
Got one more come through. They're always right at the last minute.
I know, you're right to the very end. Somebody said, where can I find the price for my course?
So all our courses are for each year £7,000. It should be on the website that as well under tuition fees. So yeah, you can. Our careers and welfare team are on hand as well if you've got any questions about obviously the student financing. Some people do self-fund themselves if it's a second degree, but generally, if you've not done a degree before, you should be entitled to student finance. And our careers and welfare team, they're available on our website under contacts, and there's someone available every day if you want to speak to them. But the course price is £7,000 for all our courses in computing.
Great, thanks, Adam. And I think if that is it, we will wrap up there. Looks like there's no others have come through. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us today, and like Adam said, you can contact us through the Careers and Welfare contact on the website, or if you have a specific question about the course, Adam's email is in the Q&A box. So yeah, thank you for joining us. Bye.